What's up, everybody? Good morning. It is game day. We're about 4 hours away from kickoff. And, well, I don't know how excited people are, but it's a game. It's a Seahawks game. We're only going to get probably 17 of those this year, so gotta find some way to get up for it. So, of course, after the game, we'll have our post-game video where we talk about whatever happened out there. We're going to do our post-game stream, but before we get to all that, I want to talk about some last-minute game notes as well as an update we got on the health of a certain Seahawk. So there are two interesting things that came out of the news cycle yesterday. Number one is linebacker Tanner Muse has been promoted to the active roster off the practice squad. And I find this to be really interesting, and I want to spend a little bit of time talking about it because I kind of, because he's a practice squatter and because he hadn't been here before, I almost forgot that Tanner Muse was here. But now that we're in this position in 2021 where we're not really going anywhere good, Tanner Muse could end up playing an important role for this team going forward. It's possible. The other bit of news in terms of roster churn that we got is Jake Luton was not added to the 53-man roster because he doesn't have any call-ups left. So Jacob Eason's going to be the backup for Geno Smith. Now, that's not nearly as important because if you get down to your third-string quarterback, like, who cares? Jake Luton, Jacob Eason, they're not going to do anything good for you. I guess Eason probably has a better NFL arm, but Luton probably knows the offense a little bit more, so to me, they're both equally worthless at this point. I'm not going to act like either guy is going to be able to come in and save the game if Geno goes down, or that Geno's going to have any kind of good game to warrant saving while we're here. But kind of interesting. Eason definitely has more upside and talent than Luton, but I don't know if that's going to manifest in better play right now. But the interesting thing here to me is Tanner Muse, because there's a unique opportunity here for a guy like Tanner Muse, and I don't know if he's actually going to play on defense in this game or at any point this season. But if he can get on the field in a meaningful fashion, there's actually an opportunity for him to latch on. The Seattle Seahawks are going through what I would call a lost season. I know there are some people out there who still have optimism and hope, and God bless those people. You know, good for them. I understand. I know it's possible, but I'm kind of looking at this season right now as what can we save going forward? What are we going to see from the guys who are going to be here in the future? Because this team, maybe they have a chance of being good in 2022. More than likely, we're looking at a target date of 2023 for the next time this team is worth anything. So I'm not really looking at the guys like the Bobby Wagners and the Dwayne Browns and the guys who are clearly not going to be here in a couple years. But a guy like a Tanner Muse, young player, drafted a year ago, got pushed out of Oakland. I didn't get the sense it was because of poor play. It was more of just they needed a fresh start because he got injured. It felt weird, right? Like, it didn't feel like he got cut because he's terrible. And if you look back at his college tape, he was a hard hitter. He was a playmaker, always around the ball, played safety, played linebacker, versatile talent. Taken in the top 100. There's some stuff here going on with Tanner Muse. And if Wagner gets cut this offseason, which I do expect to happen, especially if we change coaches, then Tanner Muse suddenly becomes an important potential piece, because I understand that betting on Tanner Muse to become a good player for the Seahawks is a long shot. But we are talking about a player here who was drafted in the top 100. We are talking about a player who clearly did something right at the college level. Now, there are busts that litter the NFL landscape all over the place, obviously. That doesn't guarantee that he's going to be good or that there's anything to salvage here. But If Tanner Muse could do something to latch onto this roster next year, and if we were to switch to a 3-4, which is something that I've talked about a little bit, and I think would probably behoove this team to do, then you could have a scenario where Jordan Brooks and Tanner Muse, both draft picks in 2020, are your long-term solutions at the inside linebacker spot. So that would patch a hole in the roster that I'm currently seeing for next year, possibly the year after. And even if you don't, what if you move Jordan Brooks inside after moving on from Wagner, and then you need another Will? Can Tanner Muse play Will? Can Tanner Muse play Sam? Even if you stick with the 4-3, there's room for Tanner Muse. So I want to see what this dude can do. I want to see if he can impress us enough to stick around for another year. There's something there. So that's the stuff to do with the roster. I hope Tanner Muse can get out there. I hope Jacob Eason doesn't get out there, because that would mean it's going to be even more unwatchable. And that's it for the news concerning this game. I do want to talk about one other thing that Carroll had to say about an injury. Eskridge, or D'Wayne Eskridge, or whatever you want to call him, Pete Carroll says that it looks like he'll be ready to play after the bye. Now, if you trust Pete Carroll's injury reports at this point, then I don't know what to tell you. You're a very, very optimistic person, and I guess that is sometimes a desirable quality, but he's not somebody that I trust at all anymore. It would not shock me if he went back on IR a couple days after Carroll says this. However, if there is some justification for Pete saying this and he ends up being correct, then that would mean Eskridge would return, hopefully along with Russell Wilson. Now, I'm torn on this one, because D'Wayne Eskridge is part of this team's future. We don't know if he's a good part yet. We don't know if he's a long-term part, but he is going to be a part. He's in the first year of a rookie deal. He was a second-round pick, so he doesn't have a fat fifth-year option or anything. He doesn't have a contract that makes any sense to move on from really at any point during that rookie deal, unless he's completely worthless. So he's going to be here for a couple years at least. And in an ideal situation, he's part of this team's offense in a couple years when they're good again. So part of me looks at a season like this and goes, well, we're bad. We're not going to be good. We're losing. I don't think we're going to be able to save this season. There are too many good opponents left to play. Why not just shelve Eskridge for the season at this point? Like, he's already lost half the season. What's the difference at this point? Because he is part of that future, and him being able to be good next year and the year after and the year after that is really important. However, I do kind of want to see what he has for us in the second half of the season. So as long as it's not dangerous to his long-term health, then I guess it makes some sense to put him out there and see what's up. So yeah, well, looks like we're going to get Eskridge back in a couple weeks. If it ends up being the case, then it's fair to say we've seen very, very, very little of Eskridge so far. So seeing a little bit more of this season for the last, what would at that point be, 9 games? There's value there. I did say that I would be kind of interested in just putting him on season-ending IR at this point, but, well, it looks like we're going to get to see him after all, and there's definitely going to be some value there. So, see you guys after the game. Peace out. Go Hawks. Let's hope for good things today.